This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, state officials say a building evacuated after a nearby apartment building fire in downtown Hazard last week was unsafe to live in prior to that night. Officials say the Treehouse building, named after a cafe that used to be in that building, was illegally occupied. Tenants in the building were evacuated when the nearby apartment building caught on fire. Now, Public Protection Cabinet Information Officer Ricky Gardenhire released a statement to WYMT saying, quote, the Department of Housing, Buildings and Construction had previously issued orders qualifying 426 Main Street as a distinct fire hazard and requiring the building to be evacuated of all occupants and closed to the public until such a time as the cited code violations are corrected to the satisfaction of the state fire marshal. These orders are still in effect, and 426 Main Street cannot be legally occupied. The department has also issued a stop work order to cease construction on 426 Main Street until building plans have been submitted and approved, along with any required permits. We'll have more on this tonight at 6. The city of Whitesburg has decided on an engineer to install the sewer system for a plot of land which will be used solely for flood survivors. The Whitesburg City Council rated aspects of each engineering company that submitted a bid for the job. The point system was out of 20 and is how the council members narrowed down the voting.
We were pleased that Nesbitt got the award, which all candidates were great, and we would have been pleased to have any of them, but Nesbitt was more familiar with the area. And we felt safe to go that route because Nesbitt has done a lot of our water and sewer lines and a lot of our projects, so they were most familiar with our projects and our system.
Nesbitt Engineering is based in Lexington, but one of the engineers has ties to Whitesburg. One Eastern Kentucky city has been awarded $250,000 to start the process to fix a leaky dam. The Elkhorn Lake Dam in Jenkins is more than 111 years old. The city now has funding from FEMA to hire engineers to assess the dam and provide feedback. Jenkins Mayor Todd Dupree says it has been a long time coming for the dam to be fixed.
This is it's a big deal. It's something we've been working on for years, and since I've been on city council and city administrator and been the mayor, it's always been one of the major projects we've worked on. And we're just tickled that the funding's in place to get the engineering study done and get started on working on it.
Dupree says they have already started contacting engineers to come and visit the dam.
Been another nice day out there, a little warmer than we were yesterday, but for the most part we remain on the dry side out there. Here's the view from our Pikeville Medical Center camera. They're at 77 right now, and while we're not dealing with any showers in the region, we are dealing with some of that wildfire haze coming on back in. You know, just can't seem to shake it for too long at a time out there. Temperatures region-wide warmer than yesterday, upper 70s in many locations, flirting with 80. Monticello, making it a nice day to stay on Lake Cumberland. 85 right now, 82 Somerset and into Williamsburg. Pinpoint Doppler is a clean sweep throughout the mountains. I mean, you got to go into the far southern reaches of Wise County to even see any storms bubbling up, and that one is in Scott County, Virginia, and moving on out of the region. So nothing in the viewing area right now, putting everything in motion. Yeah, everything is continuing to develop and move on out. So we're in pretty good shape, at least for the next few hours. You forecast first through the next 12 hours. We fall back into the middle and even lower 60s as we work through tonight. But we're not done with those scattered storm chances yet, though we do get a nice break for the next couple days. Breaking it all down in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A city in northeastern Nevada is dealing with an infestation that some are calling biblical. Millions of migrating Mormon crickets are covering some homes and roads in the city of Elko. The flightless insects have been swarming for nearly 2 weeks.
When we looked out here, the whole wall was just covered. That really freaked me out.
You can see that they're moving and crawling, and the whole road's crawling, and it just makes your skin crawl. It's just so gross.
Entomologists say Mormon cricket infestations happen frequently in western North America, but are noticed most in high population areas. And they say there's not much residents can do besides just wait it out. The Nevada Department of Transportation is even plowing and sanding the roads and warning drivers to slow down. Smashed crickets are making the roads slick. The pandemic-era pause on federal student loan payments is set to end, and this time there will be no extensions. The Department of Education has confirmed a timeline for repayments to resume. Karen Kafa is in Washington with what borrowers need to know.
The Department of Education offering clarity for federal student loan borrowers. Student loan interest will resume on September 1st and payments will resume in October, definitively ending the pandemic pause that started in March 2020. For some, it will mean a major shift in budgeting.
A lot of them were using this for their everyday use to purchase medical expenses, to repay a car bill, get their car fixed, home improvements. Is a lot of things that have happened in this 3 years.
Jalen Herbin of the Center for Responsible Lending says borrowers should use the summer months to get their finances in order.
It is enough time for you to reach out to a servicer and ask the questions that you need to ask. How will this impact me? What are the changes that will take place from what previously took place? Or I am a new graduate. What do I need to know about my account? How can I make sure that I do not go into default?
The Department of Education says it will be in direct communication with borrowers before repayments are due. Borrowers are also waiting to see if the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program can legally move forward. 2 lawsuits accusing the Biden White House of overreach reached the Supreme Court. Their ruling is imminent. The Biden administration estimates more than 40 million low and middle income federal student loan borrowers would qualify for some debt cancellation.
Greece has declared 3 days of national mourning for hundreds of migrants who are feared drowned after their boat sank early yesterday off the Greek coast. It's one of that country's worst maritime tragedies in years, with at least 78 confirmed deaths so far. Greece's Coast Guard says hundreds of migrants were on board when the boat sank. Just more than 100 people have been rescued. The boat is believed to have been carrying 400 to 750 people, and the Coast Guard says it most likely capsized because of a sudden shift in weight. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has some sharp words for a government committee looking into his time in Parliament. That committee found that he deliberately misled Parliament. He is now calling them prejudice. The former Prime Minister called it a dreadful day for democracy. In a statement, Johnson said the investigation found no evidence of wrongdoing on his part and pointed the finger to members of a committee who he claims also attended controversial lockdown parties. Johnson calls the report as a whole a charade. Vatican leaders say Pope Francis paid a visit to the children's cancer ward in the Rome hospital where he's recovering from surgery. In the first photo of Francis released by the Vatican since last week's abdominal surgery, the Pope is pictured greeting patients, parents, and medical staff. The ward is on the 10th floor next to the apartment where the pontiff is recovering following abdominal surgery more than 1 week ago. Vatican News reports this is the 3rd time the pontiff has visited the ward.